Welcome back to another episode of the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Good morning, well, actually, technically, good afternoon. It is 12 noon. It is Saturday. And while you guys are all getting ready to fire up your NCAA football with God bless, there's a lot of great matchups with the NCAAs today. But today, we're talking pro sports. We're talking about DFS. We're talking about fantasy league. We're talking about wagering. We're talking about who to go, where to go, what to go. And we'll also touch on a few hot topics in the NFL, the National Football League. The Shield, seated across from me, matriculating on your screen from left to right or north to south. Or wait, what direction are we facing?
I think it's southeast to northwest.
South to west?
Yeah.
Or southwest to northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Matty DeMaz.
What's going on, everybody?
Masaracchio.
Welcome to our lovely show on a Saturday morning. Actually, Saturday afternoon, 12 o'clock.
Saturday afternoon.
Depends where you are.
Well, we start off in the morning.
It's like if you're on the border between, let's say, Tennessee and Kentucky, and you got 1 foot over and 1 foot on both sides. Like, are you in Kentucky? Are you in Tennessee? Does it matter? Like noon. Is noon in the morning? Is it the afternoon? Is it?
Dude, we're in Florida.
All right. So, hey, John. What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good, buddy.
Oh, would you like to introduce John? Yeah,
no,
seated,
I'm done.
Seated
railing.
to his left, my right.
You know, he's just
and,
the guy that sits next to me, whatever.
Also matriculating on your screen from we'll call it up to down. Abajo, arriba. Hey, it's Johnny Audubon.
It is a very un-Florida-like day today, man. It is very gray and rainy outside on a Saturday, but hey, we'll take it. Ready for the show. Got a good one for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, whoever ordered Seattle's weather,
Yeah, you can have it back. We didn't
summertime
order
weather,
this.
That's like some Seahawk stuff going on out there.
You guys are
You know,
spoiled. I mean, it's
sure.
This is nice. This is what this time of year is.
Well, this is nice and cool.
You know, it's a little overcasty. It's a little bit breezy. Actually, the temperatures are down. I'm kind of feeling that.
Well, that daylight savings time is coming. Yay!
Tonight, right?
right?
We back it up tonight. Yeah,
So
I'll take the extra hour.
We get an hour.
Yep.
Tonight.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I personally would love to have that all year long. All year long, just give me that extra hour and then leave it there.
Every year, it's a discussion if they're going to take it off the
Right.
table, leave it on the table. I
Right.
thought it was
It's
already
useless now.
been
We
taken
only
off the
made it
table.
up because of farming, and I
Right.
mean, we don't do it like that anymore. So let's just end it. Let's just dead it already.
Exactly. It's just I mean, there's 2 states that don't participate. Is that what it is? It's
think
Indiana and
Wyoming or
New
something.
Mexico
I don't
or
know.
something
The
like
farming states
I
that, don't,
guess,
that
right?
get it.
Kind of weird.
that. That's it. I'm not participating in it anymore. It's done. When the time
Gonzo's
changes,
going to be an hour late for work every day. I don't
Every
do
day.
that time. I don't do this anymore.
Helen, sell the goats. We're out of here.
oh my God.
We're done. We're out.
All right, so Maddie, we're ready to fire up the first segment here. What are we leading off with? I don't know. You and John were going around and around. I'm putting the show together, getting ready to go.
We're always rock
And,
solid, kick rocks.
Okay, well
so
then
let's get
go.
started.
Let's
Yeah.
do
Let's
it.
throw some rocks up here. So it's rock solid or kick rocks. That would be kick rocks or see. I've got my graphics all messed up here.
That's all
So
right.
It's
Well, rock right there.
Seriously, kick rocks.
All right, guys. First discussion today we're going to kind of get to kick rocks is, you know, for years and years and years, you Patriots fans, not you Patriots fans, but the ones that are out there got a little spoiled. All right, they had one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game. Technically, at the time, I guess people were saying the best coach quarterback combination ever in the history of the game. Right. Well, let's take a look at that coaching since Brady left. Okay, now. A lot of people are on both sides of the fence. So you're Brady guy, you're Belichick guy. Is it a system? Is it this? Is it that? Well, everybody's been talking over the last, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years about the Belichick tree. Okay, these are
Wicked
just
pissa.
the list of coaches underneath Belichick, coordinators, etc. So I went through and I took a look at some of these coaches on the coaching tree.
Not that
necessarily.
great.
And let's just throw some names out. Matt Patricia. Okay, how'd that work out in Detroit? McDaniels. That's kind of in the news right now.
Not
it?
Mike, Josh.
Joe Judge.
Who? What?
Who? Bill
Joe
O'Brien.
Judge, New York Giants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Now wait,
Your
Bill
boy?
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien.
Okay.
Let's stop at Bill O'Brien.
I'll give him one.
Because we now have the predominant success story from that coaching tree. He's the predominant success story from that coaching tree. Okay, when he was at Houston, what did they go with the playoffs? 4 times, 3 times. They won a playoff game. They had an 11-win season,
Yeah, then he gutted the team.
but
For nothing.
not his fault. Okay, listen, the Houston Texans have one of the goofiest owners in the NFL. Okay, the McNairs, I guess is what they're called. I guess that's oil money. I don't know. There's a lot of goofy people in Texas. But yes, Texas, I called your rich people goofy. Oil money makes people.
What do you got against Texas?
Texas, I got nothing. I love Texas.
No.
Don't get me wrong.
So the people
But I'm not going to backpedal. Your oil people are
We're getting a call from one of the Bushes right,
right
now.
Hey, tell him to
about-
shut up.
Pick it
Tell him to
John.
shut up.
Yeah, all
Right?
John, go ahead.
Think about where all the weird rich people come from in America. They come from Texas. Okay, Mark Cuban, he's in Texas. The McNairs, Jerry Jones, all those guys. Anyway, the McNairs meddled. They fired their president of football operations. They fired their general manager. And then they turned around and went, "Hey, Bill, you know something about football. Why don't you just go ahead and take over the whole thing?" Okay, because I don't think Bill O'Brien's the kind of guy that would, pull a Game of Thrones and get his two immediate superiors fired so that he could get in there and screw up the team. Okay, because I personally think that, and let's also talk about the Bill O'Brien coaching tree, because now we're looking at two guys from the Bill O'Brien coaching tree: Mike Vrabel, former linebacker coach, and D'Amico Ryan, former linebacker coach and assistant defensive coordinator, and also former player under Bill O'Brien. Both head coaches.
I'm getting a sense that the former player coaches are a
Yeah.
little more successful.
All day, every day.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the respect
Yep.
that they get. This is a game of respect
Yep.
amongst your peers. 56 different bodies in the locker room. You got to kind of get a feel for the room. And as a player, I just think you kind of generally get that respect, especially a good player like Vrabel was, and others too. Listen, I mean, Flores, last coach on the tree. There's some others. Obviously he had some problems in Miami and whatnot. So now, again, you look at Brady's success, and clearly with all the Super Bowl champions and the fact that he played till he was 80 at a pretty high level. I mean, the argument here is, again, are you on the coach's side of this argument or are you on the player side? Who deserves, you think, more of the credit when it comes to the Patriots' success for the duration in which they dominated not just your division in the AFC, but with, 5 Super Bowl rings that they have? So,
Six.
Is it six or
Yep.
seven?
No,
No,
Brady's
6.
got 7. They got 6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Brady's got 7.
Brady's
Yep.
got 7.
They got 6.
So again, my point is here, guys, when we look at the analysis of picking a side, for me, I'm on the player side. Now I think it's more coaching, and we'll get into that in my next Kick Rock segment. But in that era, 80s, 90s, certainly into the early 2000s, the player basically was the shit, right? Brady was the shit. There's no question. We can look back at any point in history and know that based upon what he had to work with, the talent or lack thereof, outside of Gronk and a good defense, year after year was just interchangeable parts. It was Brady, and
Right.
it was interchangeable parts.
Right. Okay. A quick tangent here. Okay, that's why I expect something of a spirited revival in Las Vegas with Antonio Pierce taking over as
Another
the head football
ex-player.
coach.
Very well
Another
respected.
ex-player. I mean, it's the same with Jeff Saturday last year. Everybody's like, Jeff Saturday's got no business being on the field as a head coach. I'm like, the guy was a center. Okay, there's 4 people that are the smartest people on that field on any given day, and it's supposed to be the head coach, the quarterback, the center, and the offensive coordinator. Okay, those are supposed to be the four smartest guys on the field as far as offense is concerned. Okay, and Jeff Saturday was one of those. Plus, he has a little bit of head coaching experience on a very minor level. But were we really surprised that the Colts managed to win 3 or 4 games?
Well, I mean, they
under
were
his
desperate
tutelage?
in that situation.
Okay, former player.
Yeah, but that's
Smart.
Who
He knows what it takes.
If you had to make such a rash decision like they did, I mean, that player fit in that spot. It wasn't a long-term
Ursay's
fix.
another flake. Don't get
Yeah.
me started.
So, but anyway, so for me, I'm on Brady. I'm on Brady's side on this. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Oddly
not just
enough.
this year, but the last several years. Belichick and the offense and the way they draft, and it just doesn't
Womp,
seem
womp,
like it's going in the right direction.
I personally cannot stand Belichick's smug face. I think that he has rode.
Smug.
I cannot.
He's
his
miserable.
whole attitude, his whole old school football.
John's
I'm not
never
changing.
bought a hoodie in his life just
I
because of
cannot
Belichick.
stand Belichick. And then you got, it seems like 3 out of their 6 Super Bowls are surrounded by something gate. It's like I can't trust that as a coach. He's always seeming to bend the rules or break them to end up winning something. If you look at what we just went over, if
you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
His coaching to head coaching tree is garbage. But all the players do seem to have some success. Vrabel being the one that pops to my mind. I mean, that's a really good coach. But again,
Really
it's
good.
because when you're in the system playing it, you have an understanding of what it's like to be coached, and then you become the coach. A lot of these other guys just jumped into that position or whatever and just started trying to follow Belichick's way, and it only worked for one guy, and I think it's because he had one guy, Brady. Brady left the team, immediately had a brand new coaching staff, brand new team, brand new city, wins a championship. Belichick can't make playoffs. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I don't know how you can even have this as a toss-up here. It's like one guy left, won a championship. The other guy can't draft, can't GM, can't get good players. Brady took pay cuts for years to get better players, and these guys didn't do it for him. And he just made, let's go from Welker to the other guy that looks just like him, that pretty much.
Edelman.
I mean, is there a difference?
He's a nice Jewish boy.
You know, the only guy that they gave him that's, I mean, a megastar is Randy Moss.
And you saw what he did with him.
And then he had 27
Yeah,
touchdowns
it was
with this guy and had
ridiculous.
55 from him. I mean, it's a Brady thing. I will give Belichick 2 of those Super Bowls because they
2.
rode the defense those first 2 Super Bowls. There's
Sure.
no doubt about it. But then everything after that, man, Brady just went out there and made gold out of coal. I mean, it's basically what he did. They said, here, this is your guy, this is your guy, this is your guy, make something out of him.
Made
And he did.
chicken salad out of chicken shit.
And I mean, Brady won his Super Bowl at 108 in Tampa. I mean, it's just the guy is just he's the best. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And now that Belichick doesn't have him, I mean, this team he can't GM, man. I don't know. He can't get players. He just can't. And what did Gronkowski say his last few years? Like, football isn't fun for me anymore under him.
A lot of guys.
A lot of guys are saying this, man, and you can't be that narcissistic to be like, I don't care. Your players are going to show it on the field.
Unless
man.
you win. I mean, if you win, then it works. And for a while, it worked. But again, you had control. It was Belichick and his directives, and then Brady took those directives and then spread them out amongst the team. You had
Where
a
were they
leader.
before Brady? Again, nowhere. Like, so you have
Once
this.
again, you can't be successful unless you can relate to the kids.
Yeah.
The millennials and the Gen
Look at
Zs.
Popovich in basketball. Same thing. He's too old school, and it's like players nowadays are not going to let a 90-year-old man tell them about 1960 basketball. We don't care anymore.
All right,
Like there's a whole new
hang
game.
on, I'm gonna come to Pop's defense.
You
okay,
just
because
swung at Popovich.
I
Big time with the right hook.
consider Greg Popovich to be one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NBA. Okay,
Agreed.
First of all. And the guy has also adjusted his game, his coaching style to suit his players. Okay, they went and gathered excellent players. Didn't matter where they came from. They came from Europe, bring them in. Can't speak English, only speaks French, bring them in. Remember, he's got a little experience with French guys. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about a guy who does adapt. Okay, does adapt to his younger players. The problem has been with them over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, besides the obvious collapse of the big 3
Well,
that
yeah,
left,
I mean, yeah.
and then you turn around and had what's his face run to Canada like a draft dodger.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard. How's that been working out for him lately, huh?
He's played half of his
Oh my
games
God.
over the last 5
The
years.
LA Clippers are turning into the island of misfit toys. It's
Wow.
awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
Ballmer,
now
go
they got
ahead.
Harden now too. It's
Yeah,
like, bro,
it's a
you're just
mess.
bringing in, like you said, a bunch of misfits.
Right, Ballmer,
You know,
another flake. Ballmer, go ahead and yell and scream and jump up and down and pump your fist and spend $1 billion on nothing on the second round of the playoffs. You're not going to win a ring with those guys. Anyway, back to football. Bring it back to football. Bring it back to Popovich. I disagree. He's a guy who does relate to his players. He's a guy who does adjust to his players. But Belichick, all right, Belichick has got the whole institutional thing going. That's the reason why everybody who comes and plays for him buys his BS. The only problem is the last couple of years, he's been having mismanagement issues. And why? It's because, sorry, but yes, Bill has forgotten more about football than the three of us will ever know put together.
Oh, no question. But
Okay.
you got to surround yourself
But-
with the right people.
yeah,
the right
exactly. That's
coaches.
the point.
And whose call was it to make a defensive coordinator the offensive coordinator last
His.
year? Like, what type of
His.
genius move is that? Like, so
He
retarded.
said
I don't
a
get
coach
it.
is a coach is a coach.
Yes, I don't. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay, let's
so,
move on.
So it looks like we're all pretty much on board here. We're
Brady.
kicking Belichick to the curb.
Yeah.
huh?
He's not even kick rocks. It's
Goodbye. All right, next topic. Interesting.
so much disrespect.
It parlays a little bit to what we're talking about here in terms of the importance of the quarterback position and the success of the coaching and stuff like that. I think in today's game, and this leads directly into our next Kick Rock subject, quarterback randomness, okay? This weekend, for instance, is just another good example of quarterbacks that are starting for NFL franchises that have never been, for the most part, on anybody's radar other than if you're in the know. And these are mostly third and fourth round guys drafted. Quarterback, for instance, that are starting this weekend. It's like Tyler Heineke.
First of all, let me announce the Arizona Cardinals called me and see if I was available for this weekend, and I'm not. So let's go on with that.
Tyler Heineke? I mean, really? Is that what we're doing?
Heineke?
Yeah, he's starting this week, isn't he?
Heineke?
Yeah,
that guy owes me money.
Badgent? Okay, another guy.
We don't need no stinking Badgent.
There's a lot of guys out there that we just don't know week to week who the new quarterback's going to be. So again, my direction where I'm trying to go with this is to say that in today's NFL, with the salary structure, with how difficult it is to be able to pay all your guys based upon their performance, it seems like the quarterback position seems to be the one that's taking a hit because clearly he's the guy you got to pay the most to.
There's no Hasselbeck brothers to bring in?
Not anymore.
Who are those other brothers that were? There's like two of them that played like 18 and 19 years each. They're like quarterback coaches now in the NFL. But there's no can't bring those guys in either.
No, you probably could at some
Vinny
point.
Testaverde, how about him?
The point is
He's
that
like 74 years old, but he can still play like 5 or 6 games.
We mentioned Dak, and then when he finally got his contract after a couple of years of being franchised, he's like 21% of their total salary.
Too much.
Poster child for overpaid.
And again, when you're not getting 21% of your team's production from that one guy, then how does it pay off in terms of the salary? That means you're putting the pressure on everybody else to overperform.
Okay, well first of all, pump the brakes a little bit. Dak Prescott, first of all, I think he's grossly overpaid. Okay, I mean, we could do a whole segment on grossly overpaid quarterbacks right now. Okay, there's a lot of them. All right, but the NFL is so desperate for these spokespersons for their franchises, their franchise quarterbacks. And part and parcel of that is being the face of the place. Okay? Dak is the face of the place. As much as Jerry Jones doesn't want to be the face of the place, Dak is the face of the place. And when you talk about a premier quarterback position, that's it. The Dallas Cowboys, the starting quarterback for America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, that is the pinnacle of NFL quarterbacking. It really is. It still is. It still carries the prestige. It still carries the national recognition. I mean, you look at Dak Prescott, he's been hawking soup every 5 minutes after he signed his contract. He signed his extension. He's been hawking soup. That's a huge deal. He's been hawking insurance. That's a huge deal. And he is the face of the place. And part of the reason why he takes up 21% of their entire salary cap is because he's the face of the place. It's not just, listen, if he took up the proper percentage for his play, his production, 17, 18%. But you get that little extra 3-4%, that's being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. It's as simple as that.
It hasn't worked. They haven't been in playoffs in they haven't won a game in 25 years.
Sure, no.
So,
look at Tony Romo.
It seems like the direction of the league is heading towards getting your quarterback, getting them however you can get them, especially on the rookie deal.
Yep.
And then quickly building the team around him.
It's the devaluation of certain positions. That's what it is. It's a strategic devaluation. Listen, we're talking about a league run by billionaires. We're talking about a league run by businessmen. Okay, so they're trying to figure out how I can have a lower payroll or a more controlled payroll and get more production out of said lower payroll. Okay, so what have we seen now? First, we saw the devaluation of the running back position. Okay, we've seen that. It's been grotesque over the last 5-6 years. Devaluate. Now we're seeing the devaluation, at least for the first 5 or 6 years, of the quarterback position.
Well, teams are forced to do that. Listen, next year,
because they're so expensive.
Next year, there are 4 or 5 quarterbacks that will be coming out of the first round, and they will get first round
Easily.
money. But the point is that I think what now is we're seeing. We talked about Belichick and his inability to relate, to adjust, to be creative.
No soup commercials for Mac Jones.
To be more in tune with today's NFL. And I think the younger coaches coming into the league are understanding that in order for them to be successful, and again, there's not a lot of time to be successful in the NFL. You don't get, 5 years, 10 years, unless you're the Steelers. You pretty much have to perform right away. So the blueprint, I think, is shifting more towards get your quarterback to some level of greatness, whether it's, you're not going to get to the Mahomes level, but certainly just above serviceable, and then load
Production
up.
and efficiency.
And built on your system, your coaching system, use McVay as an example, Shanahan is another example with Purdy and what they're doing with him. Again, it's smart coaches, smart systems, and pretty much just getting the right chess pieces to operate that system. And I think the most important piece on any chessboard typically is the queen, let's say, because the maneuverability and all this other stuff. Typically, so again, not to say the quarterback's the queen of your team, but I think what's happening right now is that
Although there's nothing wrong with that.
the evaluation
You do what you do on your own spare time.
of the position is slightly changing because teams are forced now to have to look at it from a financial perspective. They realize that they can't go out, pay a guy 20% or whatever the number is, and then be competitive consistently when you can't pay your left tackle, you can't get an edge rusher, you don't have a guy to take off, the top of the defense. So you have all these other things that are happening. So I think there's a shift now towards franchise quarterbacks because there just aren't enough of them.
Face of the place.
So for me, I'm kicking rocks on the franchise guy, and I'm the guy looking for the Heineke. I'm the guy looking for the whoever else is out there that can go win me a game on Sunday based upon my best foot forward, which is everybody else chipping in.
Well, sure. But now let me ask you a question. When you see a promo for a game on TV or even in print or wherever, okay, they don't put, even though your inside linebacker might be all pro, might be all world, might be the best inside linebacker in the NFL, he is not the guy, boom, on the ad right there. It's quarterback versus quarterback. It's not your edge rusher versus their tight end.
What's the baseball analogy that they always use? Chicks dig the long ball.
Right.
Okay, so it's
Right.
it's excitement. It's the face of the franchise. Yeah, you want to put those guys up there, they're normally the prettiest.
And that's why they get more money.
Yeah, that's why they get paid. So
Let's play a little game. Who won the Super Bowl last year as a quarterback?
Won the Super Bowl last year
Last
as a
year.
quarterback?
Who was the quarterback?
Chiefs.
Okay, Mahomes, right?
Right.
What about the year before?
Excuse me.
Good one.
Stafford.
What about the year before?
Chiefs.
Mahomes,
What about the year before?
Brady.
Brady.
Oh, I'm hearing a lot of franchise quarterbacks winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any Heinekes in that area.
Yeah.
I don't see no Ritters. I don't see none of that.
Right.
No,
Sure.
but you're seeing the two. One of the guys is now gone, who's never playing again. The other guy you're seeing this year is being slightly pedestrian.
So who was the last mediocre quarterback to win a Super Bowl? Do you have to go all the way back to the 2002
Trent
Tampa Bay
Dilfer.
Buccaneers?
No. Listen, I'm not saying
Brad
that.
Johnson.
Yeah.
But listen, only one team wins the Super Bowl.
I
every
can throw
year.
the ball farther than
So
Brad
the other
Johnson.
31 teams, if you want to go that approach, you're saying the other 31 teams fail.
Because that's the goal every year is to win a Super
It
Bowl.
is the goal, but it's not a realistic goal for
Or at
every
least to
team.
make it. We can even go to the make it but lost category, and you're going to have places like Burrow, or you're going to have like another Mahomes that lost or whatever. It's Hurts last year.
Hurts.
All these guys that even make it to have a chance are all franchise guys.
Yeah, but Hurts, again, they found him as a franchise guy, and he's still on a rookie deal.
Now,
So this is my point.
Hurts,
with
There
no,
are
he
only-
signed an extension. He's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL.
There's only-
this year.
This year.
But last year,
Yeah.
he went to the NFC Championship game on a rookie deal.
but he's a
Went
franchise
to
guy.
the Super Bowl.
Well,
on
no,
a
what I'm
rookie
saying
deal.
is that, again, you cannot consistently, what I'm saying is you're starting to see the shift. I'm not saying it's happened, but I'm saying in today, look at tomorrow's starting lineups. Go through your DraftKings, and when Stroud is your fourth best priced quarterback in the league, the position's a little thin. All right? I mean, it's not very exciting right now to be a quarterback in the NFL. Scoring is down, which shouldn't be because the offenses run the field. And you have all this advantage on the offensive side, which clearly is every single day, especially now with weather coming into play. The offense always has the advantage in bad weather.
Now, to play devil's advocate to what I just said, there are only two quarterbacks in NFL history that, after their fifth year, have won their very first Super Bowl, and that is the Denver Broncos with John Elway, because that was way in the twilight of his career, And then you have Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts. Other than that, everybody else has won with a franchise guy on a rookie deal or a Tom Brady that says, hey, I'll take $10 million less. Go get me some type of line that keep protecting me.
Because I like Super
All
Bowl
these
rings.
max guys that are $50 million, $44 million. There's only 2 guys in the whole NFL that I'm paying that type of money to and actually feel comfortable, and Prescott's not one of them.
No.
Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes.
Pretty
These
much.
guys can literally go out there, and maybe Josh Allen, but that guy sometimes his head isn't in the game all the time. Those 2 guys, they can pretty much make anybody that you put in front of them better,
Yeah, they chase
or at
the
least
outcome.
serviceable, yes. Yeah. Anyone else, I'm kicking rocks on that. I'm not paying Dak Prescott $40 million. I'm not even paying Hurts $40 million.
The problem is in today's NFL, you're stuck. If teams get to a situation where they're not going to just blow up the franchise because they don't want to pay their quarterback. And they tried with Dak to drag that out for 3 years to give him the franchise tag. But, I mean, eventually you have to pay your guy. The problem is for them, from a business perspective, is they waited. And those extra 2 years put him into that next terms of, in terms of where the floor should be for that sort of serviceable quarterback. So if they had paid him 2 years ago, maybe they could have cut $10 million a year off that contract.
And from what I understand, no team in history has won a Super Bowl while paying their quarterback over 18% of the cap. You cannot fill out your roster. You just can't. Look what's happening to the Kansas City Chiefs right now. Mahomes is on a massive contract right now.
Yes.
No wide receivers.
They
Because you
got,
can't
yeah,
go out
they've got
there.
like 9 wide receivers with less than 3 years experience.
You can't pay. Listen, there's a stat that I saw yesterday that Tyreek Hill has like 100 less yards than the entire wide receiver core
Yep.
of the Kansas City Chiefs. Because you literally do not have any talent over there anymore because your quarterback is taking all the money. And I don't know what Kelsey's contract is, but that's got to be pretty
Mahomes
big.
did take a little bit of a pay cut. It's not just on Mahomes. They're paying Kelsey. They paid
Chris Jones.
They paid Chris Jones. They paid a few guys. It's hard.
You can't pay 3
It's
players
hard.
70% of your
It's
salary
hard.
cap until the other 51.
Yeah.
You get the scraps and have them play hard. It's just not
It's
going to
really
work.
hard. It doesn't work.
Okay, well then I have the question that it's the 400-pound gorilla besides myself in the room, and that is QB1. What are you going to pay him if he has what we are starting to see is extrapolating to be an MVP candidate, leading the league in touchdown passes?
I wouldn't pay Tua more than $25 million a year. As
More
much as
than
I love the
25?
guy,
No.
but concussion protocols, he's a Purdy. He's a
Okay,
little bit
but
better
what
than
you're
Purdy.
willing to pay him and what the market will dictate are 2 different things. He's not going to get a $25 million a year contract.
My question would be then this: how much do quarterbacks actually give a crap about winning then? If you're constantly asking for 22, 23%, knowing that the numbers tell you you're probably not winning a
I
Super Bowl or
understand
going
that.
into a
Right.
deep run,
Well,
why
and-
would you take it?
But how could you tell a player to not get paid? I mean, guys are in this to make money.
Yeah, and listen, and a lot of these pay structure are based on accolades. Okay, what have you won? What have you done? What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
You win an MVP. You win a couple of playoff games. Even if you just go to the Super Bowl and you lose. Okay, because look what happened with Jalen Hurts. He went to the Super Bowl and he lost. Okay, and then he got paid. Okay, so what do you do with QB1, who is a number 5 overall pick, who let's say that best case scenario, he stays clean all year. He's an MVP candidate, even if he doesn't win the MVP. He gets out there, we win a playoff game, maybe win 2, maybe go to Super Bowl, lose it. Maybe he follows the Jalen Hurts trajectory to the hilt, kind of like in college. All right, except this time he can win a championship. He follows the Jalen Hurts trajectory. Does he get Jalen Hurts money? Does he get Jalen Hurts money?
what you're seeing is that, again, I use terms like floor and ceiling.
Right.
The pay for quarterbacks, the floor
Is really high.
is extremely high.
It's over
Yeah.
$20 million floor. Like if you're a
It's probably
decent
even higher
quarterback,
than that.
it's like $20
Right, and
million a
the
year.
biggest beef we're seeing in negotiations is over guaranteed money.
And then
That's the biggest beef.
And then when one guy gets paid, it reestablishes a new floor.
Yes.
And then the next guy gets it, and it reestablishes a new floor. And again, what's happening is these floors are raising higher than the total salary cap allotment is being adjusted for, and it creates a severe disadvantage that teams have to adjust to.
Well, this
And
is
that-
the reason why running backs are getting paid $1. And,
Yeah.
everybody, because you're paying your quarterback so much, the running back's like, what about me? And they're like, we got no more cash left in the bank, buddy.
I know.
Here's $4 million.
So what
You
they've
know,
done is
so-
they've devalued the position, like you
Yep.
said, and by doing that, now you don't have to pay him as much.
Well, and let me tell you, this points to the genius of the general manager of the New York Jets, Joe Douglas. He paid Dalvin Cook $8 million to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Good job. Go Gang Green. By the way, love your defense on fantasy. Awesome. But what you're seeing is a situation where you are going to have to pay these guys, okay? And they are the face of the place. And then what you're going to, I mean, look at the Mahomes deal. They've used it as a piggy bank now. He's been on that deal for 2 years now. He's done 2 restructures. Why? So they make more room to get more money. They kick the can down the road. It's almost like the national debt with the United States.
Yeah, raise the ceiling.
Okay, raise the ceiling.
Yeah.
Raise the debt ceiling.
Print money.
Yeah, print money. So you're going to see Patrick Mahomes has about $100 million in guaranteed money that comes to him in about 5 years. $100 million in 5 years. So about the time that he's thinking about retirement, it would be his 11th year, 12th year. He's going to start eyeballing retirement. Okay, and they're going to still be paying him $55-60 million. Okay, so teams are using these giant mega deals as piggy banks because they can restructure them and they can move the money into more guaranteed money. You know, we talk about the guaranteed money when they do the contract immediately. Okay, like a 5-year extension, 180 million guaranteed, $250 million. Okay, and when is he going to get that guaranteed money? Oh, we just reworked the deal now. They're going to get more guaranteed money up front and then more guaranteed money down the road. It's like, okay, so you're splitting the difference so that you can make a little bit of space here so that you can go get a running back and lowball him. Okay, it's a little financial voodoo, but these big quarterback deals are being used as piggy banks by the GMs. It's as simple as that. It's kind of like buying a house and then taking loans out against it. You know, I got a HELOC over here. I'm going to take a second mortgage out over there. You know, I'm going to rent rent half the garage out as an Airbnb. Okay, well, you can't rent half a QB out as an Airbnb, but they're using voodoo economics to kick the can down the road.
They've got to get creative. They've got to find ways to.
Oh, yeah.
But we would all agree, though, that, okay, let's just take the money part out of it. We're all agreeing that you still need a franchise guy. You cannot win with a Heineke. You're not going to win with a Levis. You're not going to win with those types of guys if they're not a franchise guy. Now, granted, again, within your first 5 years, and that's the reason why these guys win Super Bowls in their first 5 years.
Don't pick on Will Levis.
It's because they're making $2 or $3 million and not 30. You can actually go out there and pay a Tyreek Hill $130 million. You can
worth every nickel.
You can pay a Justin Jefferson $135 million.
Worth every nickel.
At the end of the day or whatever, you have to win within your first 5 years, but all those guys end up being franchise guys. Like, you cannot win with an average run-of-the-mill quarterback just because you think you're going to save some dollars. Like,
but let me ask you a question. What the hell were we talking about to begin with? Because we've been on a tangent.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, I guess, what is the question? Can you win a Super Bowl with these guys, or are they serviceable?
What I'm saying generally is that when you look at the landscape of the league, of the 10 or so quarterbacks that are starting tomorrow that probably weren't on most people's radar, again, what's going to be the overall success of that? Now, is it sustainable? Can you turn that guy into a franchise guy? That's where I'm going with this. So what I'm saying is that you don't have to go into the first round, take your quarterback, pay him $1 million, pay him $100 million after the first couple of years, and then go win a Super Bowl.
$1 million?
It doesn't happen because it's too difficult in today's football economics to pay one or two guys a lion's share of the money.
Yep.
You just don't have enough to go around.
True that.
There's not enough to talent-wise, it's just not working. So
okay, so rock solid.
I'm rock solid. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're rock solid.
Yeah.
You're rock solid.
Rock solid as far as you need a franchise quarterback?
No.
Rock solid in terms of going in a different direction from the teams having to be a little bit more economical when it comes to paying their quarterbacks. What I'm saying is that they're looking for the guy.
I think that goes both ways too. I think quarterbacks are going to have to start looking at it and going, okay, do I need $51 million or can I deal with $41 million and get this great receiver I want to keep or keep
the Brady plan?
I mean, how much is too much? I mean, come on, guys, you're going to pay $60 million a year but never win a game again. I mean, you can click it back a little bit and keep your players there.
Well, okay. Well, before we go on break here, and I will get to this point. Okay, the Dolphins will pay Tua Tagovailoa. They will pay him.
But are they going to pay him $40, $50 million?
They're going to pay him north of 25. That's for damn sure. Okay. What they're going to do, though, is they're going to kick the can down the road past the Tyreek Hill contract, which is up at the end of 25.
Not next year, but the year after,
End of 25. So what you'll see is they'll structure his extension to where he's going to get paid pretty well for his first 2 years, and then year 3, year 4, year 5, you're going to see him getting paid $50 million. Get used to it. Maybe they'll restructure, add another year, put all the money on the back end of that, so that when they do eventually, if let's say he plays his career out 10, 12, 15 years, God willing, okay, and he does well, he's worth all of that, okay? So once you get to year 11, 12, 13, if you're going to pay him $50 million, just keep restructuring him. Just keep spreading it out on the back end, okay? So what if you, like you said, he makes $25 million a year, okay, on an average, okay, but that's a lot of guaranteed money. He'll take it.
Daniel Jones got paid.
Yeah, Daniel Jones got gross. Daniel Jones's agent ran into that office with one of them little blindfold masks and a ski mask and a gun. Said, "Pay my guy."
I think it's a little different though if you're on like a Giants team that, let's say, and I know last year they made the playoffs, but god dang, they barely. I mean, they're not that good of a team. If I'm Daniel Jones on a 3-13 team and you're like, bro, we're going to give you $50 million, I already know we're not winning nothing. We suck. You know what I'm saying? Yes, give me my money. As a Tua Tagovailoa guy, you have a chance to win multiple Super Bowls with this team. Just think, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying.
Though.
Take 30 to 35 million. Tua's very much a family man. He seems like a different type of cat.
He don't care.
Then maybe he will do a Tom Brady and be like, thank you for the $38 million offer, but I'll take 30.
If he's going to save you guys some money, you guys better build that defense because you better hurry up and get that side right because that's the only chance you got of winning a Super Bowl.
We're going to talk about that later, but I think we are.
All right.
Oh, we're going to talk.
I think we are.
Oh, we're going to talk.
We got a few games to get to.
Okay, well, right now we got a break to get to so that we can, I don't know, who's got to pee? Everybody got to pee? Do you have to pee?
I already
peed. You guys okay? You got to pee?
I peed already.
Bladder control, bladder check?
No.
We're good.
You're good? Okay. Then good.
Sounding off.
Then we're going to kick it for a break for a couple of minutes, and we'll be back with the Gonzo Radio Sports Disc. And what are we going to picks?
We'll do some games.
Do some games.
Core
okay.
4. We got the whole thing lined
so
up.
get your notes out. Get your paper and pen out so that you know how to and who to and what to win with next or tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a long day already.
Gonzo Radio.
Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, and I just got a rhetorical question here. Just as we're coming back from the break, the Maz decides he's going to pipe in and go, "Well, what are you guys going to do if the Dolphins lose tomorrow?" And
gave us no time to respond before break comes back.
I'm going to do what Mike McDaniel does. Okay, because I don't know if you've been paying attention to Mike McDaniel's press conferences lately.
Yeah, I heard what he
Okay,
said.
but yeah, he straight up told the German press, he said, listen, it's 1/17 of the season. Okay, if we win, then
They say we go to Super Bowl.
everybody's going to be talking about us going to the Super Bowl. If we lose, everybody's going to be seeing the same crap that they can't beat a good team. Okay, so and you know what? It's not gonna matter. We win, we're 7-2. We lose, we're 6-3.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you know what? We still have to play next week. Or no, excuse me, we got a bye week.
Then we got Vegas, the
And then,
Jets.
then we got
Titans.
the rest of the season to play.
Yeah, it's-
So, am I going to be happy? Hell yeah. Am I going to maybe like troll a few people who have talked massive amounts of shit about the Dolphins not being able to beat a good team? Okay. Yeah, of course. All right. Let me tell you something about passion. Okay. I watched that show, Welcome to Wrexham. Okay, I've been watching that show since the jump. Okay, it's about soccer. Don't get all upset. But the Wrexham AFC, Wrexham Soccer Club, football club, they remind me a lot of the Miami Dolphins. They really do. Okay, I mean, for those of you familiar with the English football system, if you will, sort of like the minor leagues, there's the Premier League, and then there's different tiers underneath. And when you're relegated and you don't win a lot, you get pushed down to league down here. So they're down in, let's say, the AA. Okay, they used to be just short of the Premier League. They used to be a very infamously good team. They used to be a dominant team, and they got relegated. Okay, and they've been relegated for a long time. Okay, they've spent 15 years in relegation down in this low-level league. All right, and their fans are passionate and they're long-suffering and they're losing their friggin' minds. And you know what? It's kind of like Dolphin fans. Okay, we're talking about old royalty. Okay, so there I am. I am now the old lady in the old decrepit, dust-covered, rundown mansion, sitting in her tea room, going, "Okay, bring the tea, James." And James is dead, so I'm sitting there waiting. Okay, well, guess what? Somebody came in and dusted things off and replaced the furniture and painted the inside. And now I have a big screen TV.
And there's hopes and dreams here in South Florida. Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I'm getting towards the end of the second season, so they're starting to show the successes. And I got a little choked up when they got to that point where they're getting ready to, I mean, okay, spoiler alert, Wrexham advanced. They've made it to the next league. All right, spoiler alert. But I got a little choked up. I'm like, I want to see that. You got these passionate fans that are in their 80s and 90s, and they've been for years and years and years. They had success, and then everything took a shit, and they've been staying loyal to their fans, a loyal supporter, but they're 90, and they'd like to see a little success before they die.
Well, let's talk about your game then. I guess we'll go first.
Oh, well,
because your game is good.
So, yeah, my game is good, and guess what? It's going to be first thing in the friggin' morning, too.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock and 9:30 in the
We get
morning.
an extra hour, though, so, we get the extra hour.
Well, I work till 2 a.m.
Wrexham, Blacksome, Sexham. Let's talk about some numbers here. The Chiefs this year are a good football team, like we expected them to be. Maybe not the dominant force that we've seen over the last couple of years. It looks like it's pretty much the Mahomes-Kelsey show.
I ain't scared of them.
Because they are really hurting, I'm going to say, for lack of better words, on the
yeah, Travis, keep an eye on your girl. I'll take her from you, too.
They don't really have the weapons, the consistency from the wideout position that they've had. Obviously, missing one of their key players that's going to be back. I almost said in the building, but they're in Germany. But here are some of the numbers. The Chiefs this year, they've given up the fourth fewest yards on defense. They're second in terms of total passing yards allowed on defense. So I think what you're seeing this year is, I mean, everybody likes to think Mahomes and Andy Reid and the prolific offense and Kelsey, but it seems to be a little bit of a defensive story in Kansas City right now. They're only giving up about 18 points a game total, which I think is third or fourth best in football. So it's defense. Now, the narrative on the other side for the Dolphins clearly is Tyreek Hill. You know that boy wants to put it to them Chiefs, right?
You're going to get this work.
I mean, and clearly he's lived up to everything, all the hype, everything he's talked about, the 2,000 yards and everything. He's certainly on pace for that. Clearly one of the better games in the weekend. Personally, though, again, because I'm not going to hitch on this narrative that the Dolphins can't beat a good team. Dolphins are a good team. They will beat good teams. Every team in the NFL can beat any team on any given Sunday. That's where they get the movie from, any given Sunday. So do they match up? I think the Dolphins have better weapons overall outside of the quarterback position. But I'm on the Chiefs. Originally it was the Dolphins, but I'm on the Chiefs. Laying the 2.5. I don't know. It's just a gut feeling. Until the Dolphins do beat that good team, like the Chiefs, who clearly could be one of the better teams in the league, then I'm going to continue to ride what I think is the best team in the league, which to me is probably still the Chiefs. So, thoughts?
You hit a lot of yearly stats on there, and that's really misleading.
That was last week. How'd that work out?
Yeah, it's really misleading when you start doing yearly stats nine games into the season, basically, because now you're taking really, really, really good games in the beginning of the season and acting like that team is still that. Over the last 2 weeks, that defense has not been looking that good. And I'll tell you what, the Dolphins are fully healthy for the first time this entire season on the defensive side of the ball. We are finally going to see what Xavier Howard, Holland, and Ramsey all have. And if you've seen Ramsey last week, I mean, this dude looks like Ed Reed out there again. I mean, he's guarding his guy while looking back at the quarterback, trying to get picks in other areas. He did. He looked like Ed Reed last week. He's hungry. It's only his second game back. Xavier Howard's well rested. We have Holland coming back from concussion protocol. It's not like he injured himself. He got hit in the helmet by his own guy.
He had a headache.
Now, I will give you this. The pass defense for the Chiefs, they really are that good. They play well together.
Well, you draft enough DBs in the first round, eventually some of them are going to stick.
They do, but I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't care how good you are. You don't coach speed.
No.
You don't. You don't coach that type of that. You just don't. Tyreek Hill is going to run right through these double teams. I'm telling you right now. And if they get anywhere, the Dolphins' sweet spot right now, especially for Tua, from the 50-yard line to the 40-yard line of the opponent, that's like a super sweet spot right now for him to lob that ball up and it lands right in the end zone, right where it's supposed to be. It's happened 2 weeks in a row with Tyreek Hill. Expect it to happen again. The only thing that really concerns me is I don't know what type of field we're playing on. If you guys watched the Jaguars game, I think 2 weeks ago,
right?
Horrible.
Yeah, but the Jags were in England. This is Germany. Germany is what's Germany known? The German people are known for exacting
sauerkraut.
Yeah, no, not sauerkraut.
Oh, sorry.
Beer. Heineken.
They are OCD, man. They are exacting. They are very meticulous people. Believe me, the field will be excellent. It will be superior. It will be, well, I shouldn't say superior with a German accent. Sorry. My bad. Don't cancel me. But still, the field is going to be fine. All right? The field is going to be fantastic. And for those of you DBs out there for Kansas City who are like, oh, we play Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy's fast. No, sweetheart. You're not dealing with Jerry Jeudy. Okay, you're not. Okay, here's the difference between Jerry Jeudy and Tyreek Hill. Okay, when Jerry Jeudy walks by Steve Smith while he's doing a sideline report, Tyreek Hill doesn't say anything to him, whether he said something bad to him or not. Why? Because he's above it. Okay, he's above it. Okay, Steve Smith, he's not going to get a gold jacket. Tyreek Hill, come on, really? You don't think he's going to get a gold jacket? That guy is a future Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so levels, kids. Okay, Jerry Jeudy can run a 4-3 straight line.
And from what I'm understanding, the Dolphins are talking about putting Jalen Ramsey on their tight end. So if you got our best coverage guy against your only weapon,
yep,
this might be a really bad game for Mahomes, man. If they do that,
well, they're going to start with Nick Needham first. Okay, Nick's back. Nick's feeling good,
and that's our best coverage linebacker, right?
No, Nick Needham. No. He's a nickel corner.
Oh, that's right.
He's a fill-in corner on both nickel and the outside. So they're going to start off with him. Okay, and the key is keep Kelsey in front of you. Keep him out of the end zone. Just look at the Broncos. Keep him out of the end zone. Okay, did he score a touchdown last year? I don't think he scored a touchdown last week. Did
I don't
Kelsey?
think he did.
You can have 9 catches for 150 yards, bro, all day long. Every one of them can be for a friggin' first down. No touchdown. You keep him out of the end zone, you have a really good chance of controlling that Kansas City offense. You hold them to field goals, you have a really good chance of beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. So I'm not going to come out and guarantee, we're going to go out and whoop them. Okay, but if we're successful, like we are, like we tend to be, and like this defense is now healthy, we got a shot.
And I think the number one thing
win.
that not a lot of people are talking about is this defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs is really good, guys.
Really
I mean,
good.
there's no doubt about that. But we also have the fastest release of a quarterback.
Yeah.
So while everyone's talking about they're going to get to him, then no, they're not, because you got about a second and a half to get to this guy, and he's chucking it 15 yards downfield to Waddle or Hill. I just don't see a game script where the Chiefs win unless the Dolphins shoot themselves right in the foot. And I don't see that happening.
Or the refs show up strong.
And I was
going
going
to
say,
against the
y'all got to
Eagles.
stop this narrative with the Dolphins don't beat good teams, because if that was a fair game 2 weeks ago, I guarantee you Philly don't win that
A lot
game.
different,
So,
sweetheart.
yeah, I don't want to hear that no more. We played really well against the refs 2 weeks ago.
I used to have so much respect for Philadelphia sports fans. Now, no. Now they're the kid with the hat on sideways, going, we are number one. Yeah. Go eat some crayons, Skippy. Whatever.
Next
and that
game.
includes you, Philly fan.
You guys are just on the Dolphins. So I'm on the Chiefs.
Okay.
But you guys are on the Dolphins. Good luck tomorrow. It should be a
Let's
really
change.
good game.
Let's change the name of Philadelphia from City of Brotherly Love to Second City, because that's what they're good at, is coming in second.
Ooh.
How about that?
Okay, take that.
Shots
That's it. I'm
fired.
shots
Bulletin
fired.
board
Pew,
material.
Pew pew.
All
That's
right.
right. I'm on you.
Well, then let's
I'm
talk
on you.
about
Let's go,
them.
Eagles, baby.
Let's talk about them. Next game, big game again. No,
Eagles and Beagles.
Eagles and Beagles. Yeah, Eagles and Cowboys, guys. All the talk has been how the Cowboys have dominated the Eagles over the last couple of times. How good Dak Prescott's
Hot take:
been.
Cowboys are going to go into Philadelphia and run them out of the building.
All right, well,
there you go.
19-8 touchdowns to interceptions. That's Dak's numbers versus the Eagles in his career. He's 3-0 versus Sirianni. He's 8-3 against the Eagles in his career. He's had success against the Eagles.
No doubt about it.
The Eagles' defense looks a little pedestrian, especially on the back end, on the secondary.
Yeah, what is going on with that, dude? They're like 30th ranked on allowing pass yards. It's like
CeeDee Lamb usually has a pretty good day against them. If you look strictly at the numbers, you think that the Dallas offense is going to have a pretty good day, right? I mean,
Yes.
It seems pretty right.
Well, that's the reason why they traded for Keith Byard. That's why they went and got themselves a safety, because they needed somebody to patrol that middle of the field, because that's where the Cowboys have been eating for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Eating, num, 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 num,
Well,
num,
every
num.
team has been eating against the Eagles. Basically, right now, the Eagles offensively haven't been that good either.
I'm not impressed all year.
17th yards per play, 19th in the league in points, 25th in the league in third down conversion.
Thank God for a tush push, or you'll have
So
a lot more.
you got an
losses.
offense that's not really super clicking. You got a defense that's
Right.
not really consistent.
But give Sirianni his props, though. He has managed to manage these games to the point where they're
Eagles are
pulling off
7-1.
wins.
They're
yeah, they're
7-1.
pulling off wins when they
So
don't deserve them.
You can easily say that they're winning despite playing their best football. So what happens when they do start to click into gear? Maybe this is the game. Maybe we're overhyping the Cowboys. Like, that's never happened. You know, like people have always been, the Cowboys, and then the Cowboys end up shitting the
Every
bed.
year.
Well,
Yeah.
or maybe
So-
that chicken I sacrificed actually works, and they don't win a game for the rest of
All
the
right,
year. It's
Voodoo
possible.
Master.
I think it was a rooster. It wasn't a chicken. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a rooster. But my point is guys, is that we create these narratives and then we expect them to come true. We're looking at the numbers. Everybody's pushing Prescott and Lamb and the success. And the Eagles are sitting back there going, we're 7-1. We're in first place in
Yeah.
the division. Yeah, the pressure's not on us right now. If the Cowboys lose this game, they're a full 3 games back. All right, and they're not catching the Eagles. So to me, this is all the pressure's on the Cowboys. This is almost like the Cowboys Super Bowl right now. That, of course, this is the only chance they ever have to get in the Super Bowl is middle of the season. But for them, this is a huge game.
Right. Well, listen, it's almost a similar narrative as it was last week against the Washington Commanders. Okay, because that game pretty much told the tale of whether or not they were going to have a fire sale or stay competitive. And now they're, a full 4 games back now? So what do? Oh, everybody out. Montez Sweat, Chase Young, bye, see ya.
Eagles didn't look good early in that game.
No.
They could have very easily been looking
es-
ahead to
they
the Cowboys.
Escaped.
Yeah.
They escaped.
The Washington
Okay?
game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ugly,
They
dude.
escaped.
Quarterback threw for like 600 yards in that game.
400 yards, dude.
I know, I
and
had
4
him.
Heineke.
touchdowns.
I had him. I know,
Heineke,
I know.
that guy owes me money.
I know. So, I mean, basically, Cowboys are 5-2, Eagles are 7-1. We talked about the importance of the win for the Cowboys. I originally picked the Cowboys in this game because, again, I'm looking at the numbers.
You are a waffler today, man.
I know. I'm looking at the stats. But it's too
From
easy.
11 o'clock till now, you waffled on like 3 different things.
You know what? I'm staying with the Cowboys just because I'm getting points in the game. What was it, 3? I think the line is in that game. From what I
I'm
saw.
almost positive that you're right. Actually,
Your new nickname is Matty
I got them
Waffles.
all written down here. Matty Waffles.
Matty Waffles.
Waffle House. We got.
I think it's
Waffle
around
House
3.
Masaracchio.
I will definitely be taking the Cowboys here, I guess. I'm not going to change. I do think it can go
Stick
either
with
way.
your waffle. I like
they are.
waffles, by the
Philly's
way. But
3-point
3
favorites.
points.
Yep.
I'm taking the points. I'm
Waffle,
taking the
waffle.
Cowboys.
is that a Belgian waffle or is that like an Eggo?
I'm going with the Lego my Eggo.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, for me, it's Cowboys plus the 3.
Well, I did a ton of research for this game.
Tons.
It basically says "fuck the Eagles." that is my entire.
Spent
thing.
an hour and a half on that shit. And
I
all you
spent
gotta do
time
is
on
write
every other game. Listen,
3 words, and that would have been it.
I got a personal vendetta against them now. It's
You
not
wanted to
even their fault.
quantify your opinion with math and statistics. That's okay.
FTE.
I'm
Still
going
comes out
Cowboys.
from the Eagles.
I like history, man, and history has worked in my favor when it comes to picking against the spread a lot of times. And just it seems like that Dallas just has the Eagles number over the last couple of years. And Dak Prescott, to me, is not a world beater in any way, shape, or form, but he certainly seems like when he's playing Philadelphia. He has some of his best games against them, home or away. One thing that I do that very much concerning is that, to me, the second best wide receiver, A1, AB, is A.J. Brown. The different reasons. Tyreek Hill's speed. This guy's just a monster. You can't guard him. You can't. It's a different type of animal. You can't be. He's like a Calvin Johnson. Just throw the ball up and he's just gonna outmuscle everybody. It concerns me. At the same time, though, I think that after all he better show up. After all this trash talk this week, man, Micah Parsons, you better do something.
I
Because
agree
if
with
you're
that.
running your damn mouth like this and you get no sacks and a tackle, I just be quiet.
He's been quiet for weeks. It's not like he's been, he's not leading the league in sacks. So it's not like he's definitely taken out and say a step back this year. But
I think offensive lines are focusing on him, though. That's
Yeah.
why they're
Of
waiting.
course.
So, yeah, they
Double
have
team,
to.
double team,
Yeah,
double
they
team.
have to. I mean,
Of course, they're using the LT protocols. Run at him.
yeah.
Run at
and the
him.
tush push worries me because I think it's a brilliant move. I don't want it taken out of the game. I just want it even on the defense. I think it's brilliant. They have shortened the field. They need 9 yards now in 3 plays and not 10 because they're guaranteed that extra yard and a half every time with
I
that
don't
tush
know.
push.
They missed on the goal line and fumbled last week. Riverboat Ron figured out a way to disrupt that.
Yeah, but
so
It's a
it goes
fluky
from-
thing, though.
it
So
goes from
91% to 89 or
Exactly.
something.
Just
Like,
gonna
come
say
on.
the same
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
I'll take it.
I like 89%.
I don't know,
it's
man.
It's going to nauseate me if
I'm
I
going
see them do
Cowboys.
that in the foot.
I'm going Cowboys,
If I
too.
see them do that in the Super Bowl, it's going to make me want to throw.
Oh, they're going to.
Yeah.
If they make it, they're going to.
So, Cowboys, Eagles.
Cowboys.
3 Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Another big game, guys.
Let's go.
Bills, Bengals. Big
Oh, I
game.
love this
Bengals.
game right here. I love it.
Bengals.
Bengals, basically,
Bengals.
Joe Burrow looks healthy, right? Can we
Really good.
agree?
And did we not say last week he's going to have 3 touchdowns
Yeah.
and maybe 400
Yeah.
and 275?
For those of you who were paying attention last week,
Yeah, I think I was on Burrow last week. Now, but here's the thing for this week. They may not need as much Burrow as they did last week. The Bills are giving up a lot of yards on the ground.
5.4 a carry.
Yeah, last week Mixon looked pretty good. He's finally healthy. Last week Mixon averaged 5.5 yards per carry. Also 3 catches over the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
I think it's a Mixon game. I think that Cincinnati knows that they can keep up offensively, but they may have a slight edge running the football. So obviously running the football, and if you're successful, TOP, time of possession, baby, keep the Bills and Josh Allen off the field. Pretty good success.
Yeah.
I'm on the Bengals. I think Burrow looks healthy. I think the receivers are finally healthy. Mixon looks good. I don't know. I think this is where we talked about last week. You find 1 or 2 teams where they struggle a little bit, and then they seem to find their way, and then they start their ascension towards the top. And the Bengals are looking up at the Steelers and the Ravens right now, but I don't think for long. Because I tend to think that the way the Bengals are healthy now and the way they're playing, and if they can use this game as a footprint and move forward off of this victory against the Bills tomorrow, the Bengals are going to be tough the rest of the way.
Sure.
100% Bengals. I think this is the death of the Bills season. And even though they may make
Death?
the playoffs, yeah, it's just.
Death.
You mean I'm going to be right? Bills
Death.
and Jets do not make the playoffs this year?
It's
No, hold on.
it's official, folks. I am the second biggest Dolphin homer in this room. I don't even think they're dead.
I'm not saying that they're not going to make the playoffs. What I'm saying is that you can't look at this team like we have the last 5 years of going, hey, that's a Super Bowl running team.
Super
They're
Bowl
no
window.
longer going to be that. They're going to make the playoffs and probably get destroyed
Right,
by
well,
the Bengals the first round or something like that.
The Super Bowl window. I have a question. Okay, excuse me. Hi. Richard Gonzo Saligny from Miami. I have a question. How many Super Bowls have the Bills played in their Super Bowl window over the last 5 years?
None.
How many? No.
One AFC
This
Championship game, I think.
This many? One AFC Championship or
Yeah.
two? One, two.
One.
It was a good one,
Okay.
but they lost.
I mean, because we recall the Jets at one time had Mark Sanchez, and they played in 3 straight AFC Championship games.
Mark Sanchez has more playoff victories
Yeah.
as a Jet quarterback than I think any other Jet quarterback, perhaps.
Oh,
Is that
okay. Well, I'm glad we
Even
cleared
going all the way
that
back
up.
to-
So Super Bowl window might be. It's starting to close. It's starting to close. You can just feel a little breeze.
So
underneath
what
the
happens
draft.
tomorrow if the Bills lose?
Mm-hmm.
What happens tomorrow if the Dolphins take out the Chiefs?
And the Bills lose.
Your two cream of the crop AFC teams go down like a heap.
Right. And
Very interesting
and
story.
the
No,
Dolphins will
because I
have a
still think the
commanding
Chiefs have a
lead.
better chance of winning the Super Bowl than the Bills
No,
this
no,
year.
I'm not
will
saying
be.
the seasons are over, but I'm saying we are rewriting narratives moving forward. That now we're not looking at the Chiefs being the best team. We're not looking at the Bills being the best team in the
Well,
AFC.
eventually, every 5 years, I mean, this happens in the NFL.
Yeah.
Teams don't stay up forever unless you're the Patriots.
Exactly.
We're never going to see that again. We're a 20-year run
Right.
like that. So
Exactly.
it's going to happen. And don't count the Chiefs out like next season. If they have an off season this season, just know that Mahomes is coming back with a vengeance next year.
yeah.
I mean, just they're going to have their years in the
Long
in
as they
20
got
years
15,
of not
they got a
being
shot.
that great.
What kind of odds would I have gotten at the beginning of the year when I said Bills and Jets do not make the playoffs?
Oh, if you would have put
Jets or the
100, you'd have
Bills?
made
No, the
5,
Bills and
10,000.
No, Bills and Jets, I said. At
Was
the
it the Bills
beginning
and
of the
Jets?
year, I said neither team would make the playoffs. I said Dolphins win a division, and Bills and Jets, neither team make the playoffs.
And that was before Karen Rodgers
That was
went down.
before Karen got hurt. Yeah. I could have gotten.
Y'all are funny with that Karen Rodgers.
We're
I
all
could have
over
gotten-
Karen Rodgers.
Y'all have me tripping
Like
wait,
old
who's
school,
that?
dude. We've been doing that for 5 years now since we started doing.
Why y'all
this.
riding my man Rodgers?
I love him. Listen, I love him. I love him. First of all, let's
So
get
does
it right.
Brian Gutekunst.
I love
He
him.
loves him
I
too.
think he's fantastic. I think he's a fantastic personality for the league.
Ayahuasca.
I think he rubs all the wrong people the right way, or all the right people the wrong way. All right, but I couldn't. Karen Rodgers is low hanging fruit, and I got my partner for 5 years now has been a certifiable Aaron Rodgers hater. So I had to get on the bandwagon a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, I got to support my boy. So
Mr. Ayahuasca.
I got your ayahuasca.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple to me. The narratives could be rewritten halfway through the season where your elites could maybe not look so elite.
Good,
I think
screw
I
that.
would have gotten 500 to 1 on that
500.
bet.
No, not maybe 100 to 1.
No, I would have got more than that.
No.
Aaron Rodgers led Jets, Buffalo Bills, both teams not making the play. Yeah, maybe 500 is a little too high.
A little
You
too
said you
high.
think it's a running game? You think Bengals are a running game?
I think you'll see a lot of mixing tomorrow.
Can I
Mixing
tell you a little
mixing
stat
it
that
up,
might change
baby.
your mind?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Bills allow the second most to wide receivers. 3 out of 4 of their cornerbacks are allowing 120 rating to wide receiver. I mean, bro, they are allowing everything in the air to get caught.
Wow.
I see Chase going for 11 catches and 120 yards and a touchdown tomorrow.
Well, that's
I
the
think
reason
that
why they made that trade for Rashawn Gary. That's why.
Sure up the back end a little bit.
Oh yeah, they needed to. They lost Tre'Davious White
for
That's
the
a-
year.
That's
yeah.
a huge
and
loss.
Milano in the middle too. I mean, that's a great linebacker.
Yeah, that's right. And my voodoo doll worked on
So-
that fucker too.
So if I pick the Dolphins, then so far we'd all be Dolphins, we'd all be Bengals, we would all be
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Let's get to the next game. Although I'm not picking the Dolphins. Baltimore and Seattle, the other great game in the weekend.
This is a hard game to choose. Man.
Who's the home team?
Baltimore's at home. I
Home.
will say this. I will say
Ravens.
that nobody's really talking about the Ravens. Is that
No.
fair to say?
I am.
I mean, but realistically, I'm talking about in the spotlight. I mean, everybody's talking about the Chiefs, the upcoming Dolphins, the Bills. Are they good? Are they not? The coaching changes, Bengals and Joe Burrow's resurgence. There's lots of storylines.
All right, hold up. Excuse me. I have to jump in here and blow my own horn, if you will. I, from the jump, especially around the same time we were doing fantasy drafts and fantasy mocks, okay, I said if I can get Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson as a stack, okay, especially in a tight end centric league of a dedicated tight end position, and even not. And I did, and I got them. And both of my teams are very successful, and both of those players have been very instrumental in that success. Okay, so when you say nobody's on the Ravens, I am.
Yeah,
have been. Todd Monken has been an absolute offensive coordinating beast, and you can see this team week by week by week starting to buy into that system, starting to get comfortable with that system, finding out who can succeed in that system. So don't say nobody, because I ain't nobody.
Mostly nobody, except for you.
Because I'm a genius.
You know, Mark Andrews, 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, so maybe the offense is starting to pick it up a little bit. I'm on the Ravens. I like the Ravens. I think they're the best team in the division when healthy. That's been the issue with the
And they're
Ravens
healthy.
over the last few years. They've been dealing with a lot
Get
of
on the
injuries.
Gus bus.
To me, it's a 2-team race in that division between the Bengals and the Ravens. But we're just talking about this week in particular. Seattle on the other
Wow,
side.
you don't even give your Steelers any credit, any chance.
None. Basically, Baltimore is third best against the pass. Like we said, the corners are good. The defense is usually very good. Geno Smith has been serviceable this year. Not great, even though Seattle's been good. It's going to be tough sledding for the Seattle offense, I think.
Right. Well, and listen, Geno Smith's big problem this year has been connecting on the long ball. Okay, last year, what did we see? Metcalf, 68 yards, and you turn around in the next drive and you get 54 yards to lock it, and then the next drive, you get these long balls. He's had like 4 or 5 games where he hit the long ball and he threw for 400 yards. This year, teams are taking the top off the defense. The defenses are taking the top off.
You're
their
seeing
route.
that more.
Yeah, they're cutting them off.
Yeah, you're seeing
That's
that
all.
more. Not giving up the big plays.
So Geno has to be more patient.
Well-
And you're starting to see a little bit of a crack in why was Geno Smith passed up for 9 straight seasons?
I think what you're going to see tomorrow, too, is that kid, Zach Charbonneau. He's had a rough start to the year. He's had some injuries.
back, though. Good
Really
back.
good. Kenneth Walker's been good, too. Kenneth Walker, I think, is
Solid.
4th in the league in rushing
Rock
yards this
solid.
year. But it's tough to run against the Ravens. So they're going to have to be creative. I think you're going to see a little bit more of Geno checking down tomorrow, getting the ball in Charbonneau's hands, getting the ball in space in Walker's hands.
That's a really good play. Check down to Charbonneau has really worked well.
So I think you're going to see Seattle try and control the game that way a little bit more. But Baltimore's at home. Baltimore knows that the way that the division is going. I know the Steelers pulled off a victory on Thursday. The Bengals are starting to light up a little bit. The Ravens got to keep winning. They got to keep pace.
Patrick Queen is a beast.
Yeah, Seattle's a good road team though. Seattle
You
travels
cannot
well.
run, you cannot hide from him.
I'm still taking Baltimore. I think that line's 5.5 or
No,
5.
it's closer than that now.
It's come down a little bit.
Yeah, let me see. Baltimore. Oh no, it's come down from 6. So if it's 5.5 or 5 now, it was 6 when I took the bet yesterday.
5.5. To me, I think what I'm going to need to get those few points in that 5.5. I wish it was 3.5. It's 5.5. I'm going to need a defense to make a play tomorrow. I think they do. I'm on Baltimore tomorrow. I'm laying the points. I think this is a type of game where if it gets out of hand early, it could stay that way. I don't think Seattle's the type of team that can fight their way back.
Kind of like Baltimore, Detroit.
Yeah,
Starts rolling downhill and it just keeps going that way.
It's going to get out of hand because, again, Seattle's going to try and run the football. That's what they want to do. But, again, if you're down by 2 scores early or if things don't go your way and you can't follow the game script, it could be a long day for Geno Smith. And for that reason, I'm taking Baltimore home.
Get him, Johnny.
All right, well, Seattle's holding running backs to 3.1 yards per carry, which is first in the NFL. The big thing for Baltimore is they run the ball more than anybody else in the NFL. So now you got a great battle between a defense that can hold running backs and a running back that loves to run the football. Jackson only has 9 touchdowns to 3 interceptions this year. They do not throw the ball that often. They run. And if you can get Jackson to be one-dimensional with Seattle's great pass defense, that could spell disaster for Baltimore. And I think they do. Baltimore, like I said, runs more than any other team. And now you're just kind of deciding, do they run the ball successfully against the defense, or is the defense successful in stopping the run? I'm going to take Seattle in this game, especially giving me 5.5, 6 points. Baltimore does not win games at home by more than 4 points. They just don't. They win all their games tight except for the Detroit Lions game, where apparently Lamar Jackson is like 16-1 now against NFC teams, which is absolutely insane. So it's like, other than that one little statistic or whatever, everything should tell you that Seattle should come in here and kind of lock up Baltimore in some way, shape, or form. I don't trust teams in a passing league that don't pass the ball. They're winning games ugly. They're very similar to kind of your team, Pittsburgh, right now. They're kind of just they're staying in games and winning late. I don't trust them against Seattle this week. Not with 6 points. Do they win the game? Very possible. Do they win by more than 6? I don't think so. I'm going to take Seattle in this one, break up a little bit of the monotony here, but yeah, I'm going to take Seattle, holding running backs and making them one-dimensional.
Well, now here I have to go and be the guy to go, okay.
Tiebreaker.
I do not see the Detroit game as being an outlier. I do not. I see the Detroit game as being a situation where the entirety of the offense has bought into the Todd Monken system. They had a very balanced attack, lots of rushes, lots of passes. What do you got, 26 attempts, 27 attempts, something in that game?
I know Mark Andrews had a couple of touchdowns.
Right.
So.
He lit it up. Jackson lit it up. I think that is not an outlier game. I think this is the beginning of a trend. I think that offense is waking up. I think that they're using Zay Flowers more. I think they're being smarter with Odell Beckham Jr. I think that Bateman is getting more involved in the offense. So, and I don't. They have Nelson Aguilar even, who is a field stretcher and a good middle route runner, which is what you saw against Detroit. So Detroit's not an outlier. I see them covering your 5.5, and I see them winning outright. I think it's going to be a nice 9 or 10 point win. I think you're going to see balance on both sides. They may not run the ball all over the place because, like you said, Seattle's defense, they stopped the run. They added Leonard Williams, for Christ's sakes. So, yeah, they're going to stop the run, but Baltimore's still very stubborn. They're still going to bang you they're going to punch you in the face.
Remember, a lot of their running success is when plays break down and Lamar's out of the backfield and everybody in the secondary's got their back towards him. And that's where Lamar has a success.
Yep.
It's not a traditional line up 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense.
No.
It's constantly adjusting, constantly working on the fly, creating, and that's what Lamar Jackson does.
Well, and that was the killer. This is the reason why the Steelers had him stymied is because they put a spy on him. Okay, they put a spy on him, and at least one guy did not have his back to him. So every time that Jackson did take off, they kind of limited him. They ran him out of bounds. Playing
him twice a year for the last 6 years also
exactly.
helps too.
So they know how to handle him.
Yeah.
So everybody's got tape on him. But I think that he is going to manage to win it with his arm. I think he's going to throw one to Flowers.
I like him.
He's going to throw one to Andrews. Okay, Gus is going to get a touchdown. They're going to kick 3 field goals. And there you go. There's your 30-24, 6 points, cover up. Thank you very much. Good night. And now for our commercial break. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here with the fun with the Core 4. Is that what we're doing?
We are Core 4. Last week we crushed it. We're going again this week.
Okay, Core 4 right after this.
We live a pie on our day. We live a pie on our day.
Yes.
What in there?
We better get going. God knows what the team is doing with just former Fran watching them.
Dios me está, Bobby Boucher on the beer. Call that wrong way. You're a famous Bobby Boucher dying.
Gonzo Radio.
Now, let's analyze what's been working for us. Not a goddamn thing's been working for us. Like this goddamn suit doesn't work for me. And this stinking tie. And this goddamn shirt. It doesn't work for me. You know how to play winning, hard-nosed football? You play football like a Gennaro played football. A guy who gave his life for this football team. He was a 140-pound halfback, and he played like a goddamn wild man. No, like a goddamn rampaging beast. And that's the way you gotta do it. You go out there, you tear their fucking heads off, and you shit down their necks. Let us pray.
Gonzo Radio.
Nothing like a little Nick Sirianni giving a pep talk at halftime during the Washington game last week, telling his Eagles to play like Ed Gennaro, like a goddamn raging animal, raging beast.
Raging beast.
Let us pray.
Let us pray.
It's classic. Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. It makes me giggle every time. Every time. So, quick reminder, I will be dropping the... wow, hey, Google actually popped up on my phone. I will be dropping the audio version of this for those of you who like to disseminate these information and these facts and winning information and facts on the audio format, if you will, the audio platform. That would be SoundCloud and Spreaker. Those will be posted shortly after the show is done airing here. And you can go ahead and go over there. You drive around with the windows down. It's a good day for it. And you can listen to us on that. So let's get to our last segment here, which is the Core 4, which will be 4 players that we have scientifically extrapolated the possibilities, very high likelihoods, that they will be very successful fantasy players for you and game breakers and game makers for you.
Money makers.
In DFS and in fantasy leagues in case you have them, or if you don't, try to get them.
Yes.
So, Matthew, if you will.
I would love to talk about some Core 4 last week. We crushed. We had a little Joe Burrow last week. We had some Mark Andrews last week.
We were all over that.
We were on it. So this week, I don't see much of a difference in the success. So let's just get right at it. Core 4. Basically what I'm doing here is giving you 4 guys that are going to hopefully give you at least 3X on their salary. That's our goal, right? 3X.
Explain 3X once again for
3X
value.
is the magic number. When creating our lineups, we get a salary. DraftKings salary, I believe, is $50,000. So you have to build your team based on that salary. And then essentially, if your player, let's say, I'll give you an example. I'm going to use Stevenson tomorrow as one of my Core 4s. His salary is $5.4K, $5,400 on DK. That means 3X times that, 16.2 fantasy points in a full PPR format, which DK is. Unlike FanDuel, it's 1 point per reception, 6 points for the touchdown. 10 yards equals 1 point. So again, 5.4 times 3, 16.2, 80 yards on the ground, a touchdown, 2 catches, and he hits 3X. Okay.
And you think he will exceed this?
My goal is to have them explode. I'd like to see 4X if I can. So to me, Stevenson's a guy. The Patriots, obviously not a good football team, but they're at home playing Washington, who's terrible, who's pretty much just sold off all their pieces. If it's honestly a get-right spot, because New England can't get right. They can get okay tomorrow, and that's why I'm leaning towards Stevenson. And a big day on the ground, get in the end zone at least one time. If he does that, I feel pretty good. So I got Stevenson at 5.4K. My other guy, wide receiver, we just talked about, although we're on different sides of the fence on this. Gonzo, you tend to think that the air attack for Baltimore is starting to get a little bit more consistent. I tend to agree.
Yep.
Zay Flowers, rookie receivers, had some greatness, showed some flash this year.
That kid had the juice out the gate first preseason game.
Yeah.
I said, hey, he can play.
Yeah, 5.7K on DK, $5,700. Again, looking to get in the end zone. He could catch a deep one.
Boys made me money this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's been averaging, I think, about 12 or 13 fantasy points if you extrapolate all his weeks together, but I'm looking for the upside tomorrow. I'd love to see him catch one of them deep ones tomorrow and get in the end zone. So I'm on Zay Flowers tomorrow in that game. Little bit of a salary break here in the tight end, and I've prefaced this before. I am not the tight end whisperer, but I have to give it a shot this week. Hunter Henry, 3.6K, really cheap.
Another Patriot.
Another Patriot. Again, they have to have one game this year where they have some offense. And if it comes against anybody, it's going to be against Washington tomorrow. So I like Hunter Henry. Again, cheap price, 3.6K. Another guy gets in the end zone, he's already got value. So, and then my last guy, quarterback, paying down. We talk about the struggles of the quarterback position. If you're not paying up for Hurts, you're not paying up for Mahomes, you got to get somebody a little bit down the line. I'm going C.J. Stroud. Getting a little better each week.
Johnny's boy.
6.2K. He's actually priced up a little bit on DK this week. Maybe the algorithms have picked something up on him this week. Hopefully they have.
All hail the algorithms.
Because I have him this week in my lineup. So I'm hoping for some success on that. He's coming in about 18 points on average, which puts him at 3X. But I'm looking a little more on the upside. I want to get him in that low 20s, mid 20 range. Give me a 4X on CJ Stroud tomorrow. So quick recap tomorrow. Running backs, I've got Stevenson. Wide receivers, A. Flowers. I get you tight end at Hunter Henry. And I'm going with C.J. Stroud at the QB position tomorrow. Those are my core four.
Nice.
Last week we had Burrow at 27.6, which was 4 times value. Chase at 20.2, which was 2.5. Kamara at 25, which ended up being 4 as well. And then my man Drake London with 8, but he did get hurt in the fourth quarter.
Womp. Yeah, we can't stop him from getting hurt.
So you averaged 20.2 points per player last week that I picked. Really, really good. This week we're going to have some double ups.
Yeah.
I am going with Stroud this week. It's hard for me to pick quarterbacks this week just because, if you pick a guy like Hurts who's 9,200, it's like you got to have 27, 28 fantasy points. I don't trust that. Stroud's only 7,000. He's averaging about 18. Give me 3 more. We have 3 times value. I'll take him. Kamara yet again. Now, he went from like 8,100 to 92 this week, but he's playing Chicago. I'm going to keep rolling with him until he doesn't get me 21 fantasy points every week.
Right.
Tank Dell has not had a good game in 4 weeks. I believe that this is the week he's due for one.
Well, listen, in 4 weeks, okay, homie's had a concussion.
Yes.
He's been injured. Okay.
Either way,
he's
you're
right.
not having good games.
He's 22. When I was 22, I could walk a concussion and a sprained ankle off in the same day. Okay, so he's 22, and he's back. He's right. So go ahead, preach.
I'm going to take Tank Dell to match with Stroud. Now, Dell's only 5,800, even on FanDuel. He's got to be maybe 51 or 5 in your league.
He is cheap.
I can absolutely see 15, 16 fantasy points this week. And then I'm going to kind of take a little bit of a flyer. It's going to sound weird to say that with a guy this talented, but I'm going to go with Lamb. And the reason why I say that is he's 8,800. You need like 8 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown for him to have value for you. But it's Philly's secondary, and I mean, what am I supposed to say? They're like 30th ranked.
Chops.
I mean, they're 30th ranked.
Philly's secondary.
Dak Prescott also has some of his best games against Philadelphia for some reason. It just doesn't matter. So I'm going to take a chance on Lamb. So we're going to go Stroud, Kamara, Dell, Lamb. Let's go get another 20 plus from each guy, man. I'm game.
I like it. I like it.
Listen. I love the salt. Okay, I love it, but it's Philly's secondary. Let's remember
The refs made y'all an enemy of mine.
I know, but they traded for Keith Byard. Okay, they traded for Keith Byard, a guy who I wouldn't have mind seeing come to Miami. All right, we're talking about a really good safety. Talking about a guy who makes sure everybody's in the right place. So we're going to see some improvement in that defense. But, yeah, it's Philly's secondary. Screw them.
They're no good.
Okay, well, that's great. So once again, to wrap up here, Matt, your core 4 is?
Stevenson, Flowers, Henry, and Stroud.
Right. And then you're on Stroud.
Dell, Kamara, and Lamb.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. You have, well, it's more of a core 8. Or core 7 because you guys are both on Stroud.
Yeah, we should. And I have Dell also in my lineup. I just didn't put him in the core 4 because I've got.
Yeah, there's only 4 guys you can pick. There's probably 7 dudes you'd want to put on there that are good, but 4 is 4.
Okay, so there you go. I'm going to work on it right now. I'm gonna make a lineup with all those guys. So the and actually let me see. Apply. I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, well, I think that wraps us up. Is everybody
absolutely,
good?
man?
So nothing to talk about with aliens. We're good with aliens. It's okay. No aliens. Okay, well, there's your friends right over your shoulder.
Abduct me first before y'all start talking.
Take a look outside.
It's like John, stay there. Stay in your seat, John. It's okay. We're not going to start. It's like poof, he's out. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up here real quick. We're going to try to get it in under 90 minutes. That's awesome, huh?
You're going to that MUFON meeting from here?
Yes, move on.
Definitely there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
bought a shirt for it.
we'll see you again. We'll see you guys again next week at noon. Everybody's going to be here, right? Everybody's going to be ready to go next week at noon. We're going to be all right. We'll be set. We'll be okay.
We should have Andrew too.
Yeah. Don't forget tomorrow 9:30 daylight savings time. 9:30 a.m. Dolphins and Chiefs live from Frankfurt, Germany. What's the name of with the stadium? No, it's Eine kleine Bang Bang Stadium or
Sure.
something like that.
I like
okay,
that
sure,
too.
why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to be speaking German over
Yeah.
here.
Eise schmeckt in Wegen Heigesungen.
It's the
Stadium.
University of Sauerkraut.
University of. All right, on behalf of myself and Johnny Audubon and Matty DeMaz, this has been the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. And where is our stupid ender? Wow. You know what I did?
I'll do it. I'll dance.
No, yeah, dance, monkey, dance. I'll come up with the ender real quick here because
I'm not even on camera, but I'm dancing.
I'm really good. Oh my God! Please make it stop. Make it stop. There we go. There we go. I forgot to load up the ender.
This show
I got
was
all
off the
this stuff prepped
rails.
for it. I spent 10 minutes prepping everything like crazy, and so okay. So yeah, on behalf of these clowns and myself, we'll see you guys next week here on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Good luck.